Hey, what's up, Ward Wrestling, man? Another awesome show for you. I've got the great Jared Frayer here. Uh, he's the associate head coach at Virginia Tech. He's in his seventh year there, 2012 Olympian, and an Olympian. He was on the Olympic team the session before that, right? The cycle before that as
Alternate,
a
yeah.
alternate. Yeah, so that was cool because I remember talking about the alternate, but also three-time Florida State champ, two-time NCAA All-American runner-up, uh, Oklahoma State, if I remember right.
Sooners, no, the university.
Sooners, OU,
Yeah,
Sooners.
yeah.
I saw the orange; it threw me off. A national team member. He was also at Harvard, Iowa, and all sorts of other stuff. But speaking of Oklahoma, they got something going on down there in the state of Oklahoma right now, don't they?
Yeah, man, the Cowboys are got their guy, and they're trying to figure out some stuff, and they're gonna be
Yeah,
they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with, I imagine.
yeah. I mean, I haven't really heard much about it, but
Yeah, right.
yeah, I think it's everywhere. But man, Virginia Tech wrestling, holy moly! I mean, I got to meet you during COVID, and we got to talk, and we got to do this, and man, since then, the program that you guys are building there has been incredible, and the recruiting year after year, and then Caleb Henson this year, holy shit, man, what a run he made, and that was fun to watch. But man, the program's growing. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's a obviously Coach Roby's been here for almost 20 years now, as an assistant, and then the last seven that I've been here as the head coach, and what him and Dresser started way back when they were dead last in the NCAA tournament, just because Virginia Tech was last alphabetically and they scored 0 points for 3 or 4 years straight. Just continue to build and build and put the pieces together, and just extremely blessed to be a part of a staff that kind of we see eye to eye, and just continue to push this program to greater heights, year in and year out. We're just continue to build it. Last 10 years or last 11 years now, we've had 3+ All-Americans each year. And to put that string together, there's only three other programs: Penn State, I believe Iowa, and Cornell that can say that. So just extremely proud of what we've started here, and want to continue to progress it to the next level. And then that's winning team trophies every year, and ACC titles, and and building it with guys in the South. Having a guy like Caleb Henson push through and win a first NCAA title for the state of Georgia, and then obviously our second NCAA title in Virginia Tech history, was pretty special, and we have a pretty strong
Wow.
relationship, and yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was
it
something
was fun.
special.
It was fun to watch, and and I went back through like old photos because I tell a story once about when I first. So you remember when I first started this, and then talking to people through COVID, like yourself and senior wrestlers and young coaches at the time. You were a young coach, and you're still a young coach, and but
I
people were
appreciate that.
saying, man, I never really got pictures. I wish I would have had more memories. I wish I would have had more of that. So that's what made me find a camera and go out and start shooting pictures. And I had never done that, never been a photographer. I had no idea what I was doing. And I didn't know the sport, right? So I got lots of asses and elbows for like the first 50,000 photos. But I was at my first winter knockout, the Christmas knockout, and I was walking around like, hey, pose, take pictures. I know, right? I knew some of the Florida kids, and there was these kids together, and I was like, hey, take a picture. Took a picture, and I posted it, and it went crazy. Like the thing went viral, this picture. Well, it turned out it was like Caleb Henson, Chase Horn, uh,
Jackson
Singleton,
Smith, I'd imagine.
Jackson. Yeah. So like these six kids, and at the time they were all like top five at their weights in the country. And I had no idea that I just took a picture of like Murderers Row, right? And it
Yeah,
was funny. And over the years, I got to know him, but I remember watching Caleb Henson, run through the knockout and do his thing at the knockout. It was fun to watch. And now to go, wow, I met that kid, and to get to see him do it at the level he was doing it, and to go in and win the matches the way he won them and continue to push. It was fun to watch. And I know it means a lot to get another NCAA champ, and then from the South, and then the first Georgia. So that was fun to watch. But I know you had another one in Lewis, Makai Lewis, and man, he's meant so much to your program. I mean, what has that kid meant to your program? He just seems like what a stand-up kid, a hard worker, and he's been around a
No,
long time. COVID kid, right?
no doubt. Yeah, he was here the first year I got here. So that the previous regime had recruited him. Obviously he's pretty close with Roby, and Roby, recruited him pretty hard. And a kid that wasn't obviously he was a two-time state champion in New Jersey, so that's pretty impressive. But not the by far not the best kid in his class or his weight class. I think he was 7 or 8. And just to see his work ethic and his humility and just going to work, checking and checking out, and his ability to work with the best guys, rest with the best guys, but then also, build up the younger guys and never have too much pride to help someone else out. And then to see him do the things he did as a freshman and as a redshirt freshman, winning a junior world title after, in his third freestyle tournament ever, getting to travel the world with him and kind of seeing his eyes open, from a small kid from Somerset, which is his town in New Jersey, to world champion, and then watching his march to greatness, to win the NCAA title as a redshirt freshman, and the guys he beat, and just so cool. And then kind of marching into the NIL era. Fortunately he won, or he would probably bankrupt us at the time. Before NIL, but to see him into this NIL kind of scenario, and to watch him give back to his his hometown, and then some of the causes that he really truly believes in, is pretty cool to see. So just a humble dude that's been here for 7 years, done it the right way, got his master's degree and got his undergrad, and now we're just excited to see where this next step takes him.
It's awesome. You being an Olympian 2 cycles, I got to go to the Olympic trials this year, and it was super cool to watch. And I tell people that I watched the most basic wrestling at the highest level. It was like so very, nobody was doing anything crazy, nothing special. It was just basic wrestling, but at a level that they make it look easy. But if that happened in a room, it was wild. But I got to have, so for example, I talked to Reese Laramendi on the show the other day, right? And she is the training partner she's who Kennedy picked to go with her to the Olympics and be her training. So not necessarily an alternate, but she'll be there, right? And I told her, I said, I remember talking to Jared, and he said, obviously being a competitor at the Olympics was fun and was one of his dreams, and he did that, and that was great. But he said the most fun he had was when he was an alternate. He got to go watch the basketball team and watch the swimmers and experience everything and be there and take it in. Where when he was the wrestler, it was more like, okay, I'm here. I need to do this. I need to focus. So I was telling her, I'm like, so she's like, yeah, I don't have to be the Olympian, so I get to help her out, but I get to also go and see and experience all that other stuff. And I remember you telling me that story. So for all these young lady and men that are getting to go off and experience the Olympics, take it all in, right? And that experience for you was incredible, wasn't it?
No doubt. Now, yeah, I was alternate a lot of times, and the training partner, and not once did I ever turn it down, just because it's just an amazing experience to be able to go over there and be in such a high level event and be around the superstars of our sport. First and foremost, I was a fan, and especially growing up in Florida, without the internet, you were waiting for the next. Back in the day, it was amateur wrestling news. You get a magazine once a month or once every couple of weeks, and man, it was the best day best day of the month, because you got to get caught up with all the college wrestling programs, the international wrestling around the world, and it was I'm a super fan on the inside, and I just love taking it all in and just seeing what the best are doing to get themselves where they're at.
It's awesome. So you being a Florida guy, obviously, I think would you lose like one match your entire high school career, or zero matches your entire high school career?
I lost
You're
3.
pretty,
Yeah.
and those are the only ones you remember, right?
Yeah.
But I got to meet your dad a couple years ago at the Hall of Fame. I got to interview him, and he loves you a little bit.
Yeah.
He was fun to talk to, and exciting and passionate. But we're starting to see a lot of really good Florida kids come into your program, right? I mean, you have a Crook there right now, which
No doubt. That's a
it
guy
was
that
super.
did lose any high school matches. It's pretty impressive.
Yes, yes.
That's
And he's somebody that got to experience the NCAA tournament this year, and not only that, got to experience it with his brother. Right, his brother was in the tournament as well, so that was pretty cool. And we'll talk about Crooks, but you're also recruiting. You just recruited a young man that is unbelievable in CJ Torres. You've got CJ Torres coming in, I think, with a huge bright future. How excited are you to add him to the mix?
well, I can't talk about anybody that's not signed right now. So
Okay,
he is
so
yeah, he's that's a great program Coach Palazzo's got going on there. And yes, he has some pretty impressive
okay,
individuals um and I have some great
no problem.
relationships with those
So I apologize.
individuals.
I saw
No,
I
no,
saw
it's okay.
I saw the committed post, so I thought you could do that. Okay, well, we
Yeah,
all
no,
love C,
I
and good
yeah,
luck with that process,
no
and
doubt.
hopefully that gets wrapped up there. So my bad, but
Yes,
so
yes.
So Crook,
Yeah,
you have Tom, I believe, right?
we have Tom.
Jack is at
Actually,
Harvard.
Jack is at Harvard. He's actually going to take a year off this year, and he's actually going to train in Blacksburg with us for a little while before going back to Harvard. Love those boys. It was pretty wild. So those when I was there for the 7 years ago, I was back in Florida, out of wrestling, and we had a little club going on. It was called Sunday Select, and this year it was pretty cool because we had six of those Sunday Select guys that I would run every Sunday from. It was like 6 to 7:30, and that's kind of the only time I could kind of carve out, so I could get back to my roots and give back to wrestling. And this year we had six NCAA qualifiers that were in that little kids club that were
Oh
all from
wow.
kind of that Tampa Bay area that were NCAA qualifiers. So, and Tom and Jack were one of the little Rugrats, and then he actually wrestled Kai Owen, and Kai Owen was one of those. So to see that kind of come from full circle and see them wrestling, in the consolation rounds at the NCAA tournament was pretty special. And then to see Julian Ramirez and Buzakis and the list goes on. Just all these kids that were all. I have a picture, and all these kids are in along with Keyshawn Clark, who was a Riverview guy who ended up going to UNC and taking second in the country. And it was pretty neat to see all these guys, growing up and wrestling in their first and second NCAA championships. So pretty neat to see the Sunday Select boys coming up and being NCAA qualifiers.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, every time I turn around, I see a committed poster from the Hokies, and it's another hammer, another hammer. So man, it's awesome to see you guys doing. So I know you're going to be down in Florida here in
Yep.
the next month or so, right? A few weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So the Florida Pride, man, it's been a kind of a cornerstone of what I've grew up doing. It's probably been 20 years that I've gone to that camp, and I think it's been going on for over 25 now. Glenn Goodman, who was my club coach, and a dear friend of mine, started the camp 30 years ago, I guess now, and this will be at least my 20th time, if not more. So it's been a while since I've been back. I'm really excited about it. We kind of made our little family vacation around it, so I'll be down in Florida for 10 days, and 2 of those days, myself and Caleb Henson, and I'm sure Tom Crook will jump in there, and maybe that other kid from Lake Highland Prep you're talking about might pop in there. But yeah, looking forward to going to Florida Pride. It's pretty awesome event. It kind of flip flops between Lakeland and North Tampa. This year it's I can't think of the college. It's at
Southeastern. Oh no, you're talking about the college for
Weber College.
the
It's at
Florida
Weber
Pride, Weber
College,
College.
Florida Pride. Yep, yep. So it's right on a big lake, and man, we've had quite a few stories uh, throughout the 30 years down there on that lake. But pretty neat to go back there and reminisce and teach some good wrestling and continue to make some of those
Yeah, and I
Florida
think
youngsters into studs.
Coach Mason is really happy you're coming, and I know Coach Mason's been happy to be back involved with it because I think he was very close with Coach Goodman as well. I think you all
Exactly.
grew up around him and with him. And
Yep.
so when the opportunity came to kind of be back involved with that, I think he was more than happy to jump in, and that's great. You guys are doing some awesome things down there. So what's for the off season now? Are you doing some world team stuff? Are you taking kids around the world? Are they doing some freestyle wrestling and
Yeah,
some Greco
so
wrestling?
so our boys will be they're still in town. We keep them in town till the U23s and the U20 World Team Trials, which is next not this weekend but the following weekend. So I'll go up to Geneva, Ohio for that. We have one of our guys, one of our freshmen that'll look to make the U20 World Team. Jimmy Mullen, he's a heavyweight. He's in the final, best 2 out of 3. So he won the U.S. Open in Vegas, and then so he'll sit and see who comes through the mini tournament. So hope to get him on the U20 team. Last 3 or 4 years, Makai Lewis obviously won the U20 World Championships for us, and then Bryson Doney was third a couple of years ago. So fun to get those guys on teams and go overseas with them. Just an amazing experience. And then 6 or 7 guys will go and compete in the U23s. Tom Crook is one of them. And then we'll cut those guys loose for a couple weeks. Get everybody back and get to some camps, do some camps throughout the summer. So excited to get some of our freshmen on campus, and then yeah, man, just continue to build for the 24-25 season. So it's exciting times in Blacksburg.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I've been excited watching you and seeing you do that. Are you will you be home in August during the Hall of Fame induction ceremony and stuff like that? Do you usually come down for that? I know your dad typically you'll see him frequent that since he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think when that next one is. There's with the two of them kind of going on right now, the one in May, and then which Lambrecht and those guys got in this I guess it was 2 weeks ago with Bono. Um, I haven't seen the dates for the August one, but I'll come back in June for 10 days, my family and I, and then I'm sure I'll sneak back down there one more time in the fall.
Yeah,
So
yeah. The
I
Florida Hall of
love
Fame has been cool to see the Floridians get the actual wrestlers getting put in now, and that's been fun. I
love.
couldn't go to Bono's because I was in Puerto Rico actually with his assistant coach John Reeder. I was watching.
Oh
My
yeah,
son
yeah,
was there, but Reeder was there with Julian George, and
right.
Julian George was competing down there. He's a stud, man. Fun to
He
watch.
is.
Kid.
He is.
And Reeder was an okay wrestler, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we go way back. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
he was a stud, man. He was a warrior. He wrestled really, really hard, and he's doing a great job for the Badgers.
The picture with his head wrapped.
Oh, it's great. Great.
It's all. You ever? You ever? I mean, obviously at practice you get out there and roll around. You ever thought about trying to make a run at like maybe going to beach wrestling or something or doing something fun like that?
No, I've always said I've never taken my shoes off. So, I think what was it? I think I talked to you about it. 5 years ago when Mackay won, I had lost a bet, so I had to wrestle the U.S. Open. So I was 40 years old then. Um, so I'm sure there'll be a bet down the road at some point. Caleb let me off the hook this year, but he might not let me off next year. So I got one more. I got one more competition in me. I just have to, get the
Figure it out.
right, lose the right bet, and so I'll never
Come
rush
down
two
here for
veterans
yeah.
or nothing like that. But
Yeah, you're not going to
I
come down
enjoy
and
the
wrestle
sport.
in the that fat man thing they do at Celebration where they bring in the
No,
old. That
no, that's not going to happen. But
might not be
I
fair.
do. I enjoy wrestling. I'm not. I'm not a big runner. I'm not. I struggle. I'll do the stairmaster quite a bit, but other than that, I enjoy wrestling. That's where I get my cardio and my games played. So when I can wrestle, I wrestle. This morning I was Sam Latona, and then this afternoon I got Caleb Henson. So it's a good day today when I get to get on that
I've
twice.
learned about that now that I have a kid in college. That's called individuals, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
See,
These kids,
my
it's funny. These kids say privates. I'm like, you're not paying me, so this is my job. I got to do it. So it's
yeah,
more of
yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
individual. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I've learned that by because I know Daniel, he was doing individuals preparing for the freestyle tournament with Brandon Preeson up there, and
Okay, yeah.
so that was helping him out. But it's been cool. Man, so I was going to ask you. So Caleb Henson, as an NCAA champion, you automatically qualify for Olympic trials, right?
Right. But
So I've
he
seen
was
his
pretty beat
name,
up. He was
but
pretty beat
yeah,
up.
because I saw his
He got
name on the
hurt before
list.
the ACCs, and he's not 100% yet, so he's still trying to rehab some stuff, and it shouldn't be too much longer. But
Is
yeah,
that
he
is that a goal of his as well to
no doubt, no
compete
doubt.
at that level?
Eventually wants to fight. It's kind of everyone's. Seems like a lot of these kids' dreams nowadays, but especially him. He's big into the UFC and MMA stuff. So he wants to make a push for the 2028 team in LA, and then kind of go into fighting, kind of transition right into fighting. So it works out well for him. Well, he'll be a senior in 2026, so that'll give him a year and a half, 2 years to. He's gonna have to suck his body down because his weight is 143 for the Olympic weight. So it'll take some time to allow his body to figure out where it needs to be going down, 6 pounds from his college weight. And at 149, he's lean and mean and veined out and as lean as they come at that weight class. So he's going to have to shrink his body and lose some muscle and to be where he needs to be to make 143 pounds or 145, whatever, the 65 kilos, 143. So yeah, it's gonna take some serious science and him being disciplined, which that's his MO. So
Well, and
it'll
I mean, he's got a pretty damn good freestyle coach in you. So,
yeah, I'm
I
excited to stick with him through the
mean, pretty good. And and he's 149, so he's a smaller guy, obviously. So you can kind of
right.
roll with him. And you know, before we kind of wrap up in a little bit, I was curious, man. His mindset is something different. I mean, you hear him in these interviews and hear him talking. Um, man, talk about that mindset. When they asked him in the interview, when they asked him, I think it was something like, "Hey, if you if you win, you'll be the first Georgia. What does that mean to you?" And he stopped him and said, "When I win." I mean, how? What a kid, man.
Yeah, man. He's a confident son of a gun, but it's not something that is fake. He truly believes in himself. He believes in a higher power. He knows that God willing, he's gonna allow himself to train at a level that no one else can stay with, and he will win, lose or draw. He's gonna leave it all out there, and confidently he can say that the next time he steps out, he's gonna win that match. Regardless of what match that is. And he puts the work behind it. Our kind of motto is preparation changes expectation, and he prepares his mind, he prepares his body, his nutrition, his sleep, everything he believes in to the core. He does, and there's a lot of things that he does that are wild, and the meditation and the grounding and there's so many things that he believes in, and he's so locked into that we'll lose him for an hour and a half on road trips when we're like, where's Caleb? And everyone knows he's Ubered somewhere to go ground or go stand in a river and relax his mind and body. So
Whatever works, whatever works,
whatever
Caleb.
works.
Keep doing it. Keep doing whatever
Yeah,
you're doing,
and
buddy.
he's
Because that's all. And you said preparation takes preparation. Say it
changes
again.
change preparation changes expectation.
I like it. Preparation
Yeah.
changes expectations. I should text that to my kid right now. Um, that's so good. Another thing is ACC wrestling, man. I've only been around wrestling for the last few years, but I mean, you always hear about the Big Tens or the Big 12s or the whatever, those big wrestling conferences. But we're starting to see the ACC really show up at these national tournaments, including the NCAA's. I mean, how close is the ACC to being there? I mean, you really see. I mean, you see guys like Caleb Henson that are there, right? But as a
Mhm.
whole, to where people say, okay, look out, the ACC's coming. I mean, I've seen it over my small time, but have you felt that in the last 7 years to where when you
No
came into the
doubt,
ACC to
man.
where you're at
Yeah.
now?
I remember being able to compete and you wrestled a guy from Virginia Tech or a guy from UNC or Duke or, it's just, and it was like, all right, well, that's an easy one. Let's get through this and get to the next one. But now, man, there's no, when we get to that the last 4 weeks of the season where it's an ACC opponent each weekend, and now in some cases it's going to be two. And they do with the addition of Stanford now and UNC kind of revamping everything with Coach Cole, and there's not going to be an easy out anywhere. So it's fun to see 7 schools with the addition of Stanford, and it's going to be, with 6 we were definitely a close second to Big Ten and what they're doing when you come like per capita you only got 6 schools compared to the 14 of the Big Ten. Which sounds silly, but or whatever it is, 14 or 16, whatever the Big Ten is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool just to see the growth and what Coach Garland's doing at UVA, and then Gavin at Pitt. It's yeah, like I said, it's there's no easy outs. Each team is continuing to build. We're in a wrestling saturated part of the country, that the eastern seaboard, where we're Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and then all the South is kind of ours. We get to take our pick from the South. It's pretty neat, and to have great weather, and man, ACC is the place to be.
And I mean, a beautiful campus, beautiful area.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to go to a place, Virginia Tech is beautiful. Yeah, I've been watching it and seeing the kids. It almost feels like it's kind of like the Florida thing. I've talked to people that used to tell me, oh, when we saw a Florida kid in the bracket, we'd be like, oh, we got an easy bracket, right? Now, that's not happening so much anymore, huh?
No doubt, man. It's good to see. It's good to see these Florida teams crushing it, and it's not just individuals, right? It used to be just a couple individuals that pop out here and there, but now it's teams. The Lake Gibsons and the Jesuits and the Lake Highland Preps, and list goes on and on. Southade's been a powerhouse for 30 years now, so can't say they haven't been crushing it for a long time. So excited for Coach Balmaceda to keep doing what he's doing.
Awesome, man. Well, what are the days that you're down here?
I believe I'll be at Weber College on the 9th and the 10th, June 9th and 10th. So
June 9th
excited to get Caleb to where kind of I cut my teeth and grew up on wrestling, and get him to meet my club coach that taught me just about everything I know. So yeah, June 9th and 10th I'll be. I think the camp is the 8th through the 12th or something like that. So yeah, man, excited to work with some young men and women in the great state of Florida.
Oh, I mean, the kids are going to be, a lot of the kids that are Caleb's age, met him a lot and wrestled, when he comes down every year for the knockout. But I think being an NCAA champ changes your stature to these young fans. So I think
no doubt
getting him walking into that camp this year is going to be a huge, an awesome thing for these kids to see, and having, hopefully you'll get Jack and Tom coming in there, and I'm sure Mason will have something to say about that. They're doing a little camp themselves down here, little clinic themselves down here, and just seeing all these. It's kind of cool because when I started like 5 years ago, all these kids were like freshmen or 8th grader, and now I kind of got to see them go through their high school career, and I get to see them compete at the level, and it's kind of cool seeing them out there. Or like I'm texting Jared Frayer, holy shit, while Caleb Henson's kicking ass, right? And it's pretty fun, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. I'm texting you like, you got to be stoked, going nuts.
We appreciate what you do for the sport, and especially for the state of Florida. And it's pretty neat to see you and with the Southeast Wrestle really, kind of giving props to the Southeast and covering the sport the way you do, and really diving both feet in. So we appreciate
that's fun. And Jason and I just started a podcast together, and we do it every Tuesday. So we just, right before you, I was on with him. It's our 4th week doing it together. We call it like Dirty South Podcast or whatever, right? And it's been kind of fun because I'm not wrestling smart and he is wrestling smart. So together figure it out, but it makes me do a little more research. It makes me look at more kids around the Southeast instead of just in Florida. And it helps me kind of be involved and and then picking his brain. I mean, he knows these kids by, I mean, I'm sure a
He
guy
does.
like
He
you could,
does.
like you could call me in Florida and I would know the Florida kids, but you can call him for anything Southeast. And he's like, oh, that's Joe Blow. He wrestled for this guy 2 years ago. And he's just a nerd. And it's so awesome to learn from him and pick his brain. But yeah, it's cool. But anyway, man, go off and beat up Latona and beat up on
Two
Caleb
Southern boys.
Hamilton.
We got Alabama
Yeah.
and Georgia, man. That just happened. I didn't mean to throw that. That's good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Unbelievable. That's awesome. Yeah. Did you guys did you have anybody out? Did you go watch the Southeast Regionals at all or anything like that? Or did you
I
watch
was
them
I was
online?
watching it. I was watching it from afar. I had my alert set, so there's a couple of Tennessee guys, Georgia guys, Florida guys. So I'm
Yeah.
always got my eyes and ears open, looking for the next Caleb Henson. So
Looking
pretty
at
cool.
you could build your whole team on the Mills family.
No doubt. No
You
doubt.
could you could have an entire Mills lineup. I mean, what would
Yeah.
they have? Drew Gorman was up there competing. He's a
Yeah.
stud there, and
He is a
you
stud.
got a lot of kids. I'm sure were on alert on your phone to watch what they do. But
No
oh
doubt.
well, Virginia Tech. And I keep thinking of other stuff, and I got to get you out of here. But we're seeing girls programs kind of pop up around the country, and we're seeing that happen. Is uh, is that something in the future for Virginia Tech? Has it been
It's
talked about?
we hope so. We don't, we haven't. There hasn't been any rumblings, but it just was sponsored for the state tournament here. So that's exciting for the state of Virginia. So we'll see a bunch of that the sanctioned events going on around here. So that can only help. So I'm looking forward to
Absolutely,
yeah,
and
jumping
it'd be
on.
cool.
It would be really cool. Be really cool. It's only gonna help the sport as a whole and men's wrestling in general.
Will we see you out in Fargo this year?
I will not be. Two of our staff members will be out there. We have a camp going on during that, so I'll be running the camp. But Coach Roby will be out there, and Coach Tonelli, our new hire, who we're really really excited about, will be out there looking for Hokies.
Well, man, it must be amazing to work under Roby and coach under a legend like that. And I'm sure, uh, obviously, you've stayed there 7 years, so it's it's
It's a
probably a
great
good
place to
place to
be.
be.
It's a great place to be, and yes, see him and I see eye to eye, and he leads he leads by example, and he doesn't have to bark orders. We know what his expectations are, and I just we're as a family, my wife and two daughters are extremely blessed to call Blacksburg home, and hope to be here a long time.
Yeah, unless the Miami Hurricanes get a wrestling program,
Hey,
everybody,
hey,
this
Coral
is all
Gables
about
comes
the you.
calling. Let's go. Let's go.
It's all about the you.
All about the you.
All right,
Me and the
man.
Rock are coming home.
Yes, I like it. Well, ACC wrestling is growing so much. That's what surprises us. Is it's crazy because Florida State and Miami could just turn the lights on, and they've got a
Saying.
great conference. Cool. Well, you take it easy, man.
All right, buddy.
Don't
Have a
don't
great
don't
summer.
don't beat you two. Don't beat those guys up too bad.
Oh, shoot. I'll try not to. I'll try.
Yeah,
uh,
they're pretty good.